Today we're tackling one of the most popular and often misunderstood topics in tax sale investing, and that is remote tax sale investing. Now, before we get to continue, my name is Casey Dimon. I am a tax sale veteran. I've spent 23 plus years in this business, and I want to welcome you back to the Tax Sale Podcast. Now, if you scroll through social media nowadays, you'll oftentimes see people bragging about buying properties from the beach, about working 2 hours a week, living the so-called millionaire laptop lifestyle. Here's the truth. A lot of that is smoke and mirrors designed to sell you on a fantasy. Can you really invest in tax sales remotely? Yes, absolutely. I've been doing it long before it was popular, long before the remote work thing became a thing, and long before 2020. But is it as easy and as glamorous as the folks on Instagram driving Lamborghinis make it out to be? Not even close. And that's what we're going to unpack today. First off, let me start here. Remote tax sale investing is absolutely possible. I know because I've lived it. I still remember years back, I was physically sitting in one tax sale room bidding in person live while simultaneously placing bids in another county using an old Dell laptop. Since then, I've placed bids from just about everywhere. My office, a restaurant while grabbing lunch, a cruise ship, and even 30,000 feet up in the air mid-flight. And it's not just me. I have students from all around the world inside the Tax Sale Academy, people who have never set foot in the United States that successfully invest in American tax defaulted real estate. So don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. Remote investing works. But, and this is a big but, it is not nearly as easy as social media tends to make it look. So you must be fully prepared and go into it with the right mindset. There are a number of hidden challenges when it comes to remote tax sale investing. First off, you can't see the properties yourself. When you are local, you can drive by a property. You can scope out the neighborhood, check conditions, but when you're remote, you're relying on perhaps Google Street View that might be 5, 6 years old. That's pretty risky. The solution here is to hire a local scout. Learn how to pay somebody to take fresh photos or maybe even a video of the property. It could be a realtor, a property manager, or just somebody from a gig site local to that area looking to make a little bit of gas money. You know, a $10, $15 photo set can save you thousands by keeping you from buying a property that's burned down or quite literally underwater. And there are many ways to hire and direct scouts so they can actually take photos that you can confidently rely on. We teach about a lot of those inside the Tax Sale Academy. The second hidden challenge is more competition. Because it is possible to bid from anywhere at a lot of these auctions, everybody else in the world is also capable of doing it. That means auctions that used to be sleepy with a handful of bidders and a live auction room can now attract investors worldwide. More competition drives up the prices, drives down the margins, and this turns into much more of a numbers game to find the most opportunity. Instead of looking at 10 properties and hoping to win 10 or 2, you might need to research 50 or 100 properties to land 5 or 6. I actually did a full-blown episode on maximizing wins inside tax sale headquarters recently that goes into much more detail on this topic, and that's at taxsalehq.com. And you can also connect with other investors and learn at the same time there. But the point of the matter is you must learn how to become efficient in your research. Bidding on that many properties is absolutely doable, especially considering once you learn how to enforce that efficiency, then you can really work through properties very, very quickly. But it does take commitment to learn how to research properties efficiently. And that's something fewer and fewer people seem to have nowadays. The next one is it's a very research-intensive process. You know, remote investing is about becoming an expert in online research. You've got to know the state laws, lien versus deed, redemption rules, deadlines. You need to know the state laws inside and out. It's boring reading, but if you take the time to read it, it will pay off exponentially. You also need to understand the county process. Every county is just a little bit different. There's deposits, bidding platforms, there's timelines, there's just different processes that each county uses. You also must understand the local market. What's a property actually worth in that local market? Is it the land there usable or swampland, or houses livable, torn down? How can you determine this from afar? Is there people actually buying in that area that you can sell to local investors and local buyers? Or do you have to market that property exclusively online? And then, of course, you have to look at the list itself. You have to be able to identify the properties. You have to be able to find the information online. You have to know where to search for everything. Obviously, everything I discussed here and on this channel about diligence, you must know how to do completely online. You don't have the luxury of simply getting in your car and driving by that property if you're remote investing. Everything must be done online. And when you invest remotely, again, everything has to be done online. The next one is it's just not the Instagram lifestyle a lot of people try to portray it as. Social media loves to show somebody sitting on the beach, drinking a margarita with their laptop, buying properties. The truth, remote investing can be tedious. Hours spent digging through maps, deeds, property records, clicking through lots and lots of bad properties before you find one good one. It is a very, very powerful way to operate your business, but it does require work. If you treat it casually, you're going to make expensive mistakes. If you treat it with respect, it'll make you a lot of money. So how do you do it the right way? Here are a few key things that I've learned over the year. Initially, you need to start with research. Research the market, research the laws, learn about everything that goes on in the specific market that you are investing in. The next thing you have to do is learn to leverage the locals. And this is especially true for finding local scouts to help take photos of properties with, to help you with the research, but also true of any team members you need to employ in that area. The next one, document everything. Save county rules and county processes into a spreadsheet. When you're researching a lot of different markets, the last thing you want to do is go back in 3 or 4 weeks and have to re-research everything again because you forgot what you researched the first time. So keep track of it. And then the last one is to be patient. Remote investing is more competitive and more time consuming than investing at in-person auctions. But the payoff can be huge because you are no longer limited to your backyard. If you do it right, remote investing opens up the entire country to you from anywhere in the world that you might be. That flexibility can be life-changing. Remote tax sale investing isn't fake. It's not hype. I've done it for years, and I've seen countless Academy members succeed with it. But the truth is, it's not easy. It's not a glamorous shortcut that social media makes it out to be. It's research heavy, it requires patience, and it comes with challenges that you don't face when you invest locally. The difference is whether you approach it like a serious business or like a social media influencer's fantasy land. If you treat it seriously, remote investing can give you more opportunity than you have ever imagined. So here's my challenge to you. If you've been thinking about remote investing, don't let the hype fool you. Take the time to learn the laws, the processes, and the market, to build systems, put processes in place, and you're going to set yourself up for long-term success. If you want a step-by-step roadmap for doing this, make sure you check us out at taxsaleacademy.com. Or if you want to join other investors, connect with other investors while also learning from them and from some of the trainings that I put out, join us in our community at taxsalehq.com. We break down strategies every single week. We have live trainings in there. And again, you can connect with other investors just like you. Again, remote investing is possible, but only if you treat it like the business it is. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.